2014 was one of the coldest winters on record for the United States. It seemed every week brought harsh, cold weather and snow. And then in January, the polar vortex hit, freezing over 70% of the Great Lakes. Now, in the middle of the summer, another polar vortex could be headed this way. Meteorologist Mike Masco joins us. I thought this was something just associated with the winter months, but apparently not. It can drop this far south?
Well, remember, the polar vortex is always there, and it's in its weakened state in the summertime. However, it's not been a normal summer. We haven't seen the heat waves, right? Okay. So, you know, typically there's the polar vortex. It always sits there, it spins, and all the cold air stays up towards the north. And we usually see some heat waves. You know, it gets hot in Maryland, it gets humid, and we see a lot of heat across the country. This has been anything but typical because this year the jet stream has been well down to the south. So we haven't seen the crazy heat, and every now and then you'll see a splinter of the polar vortex come down. That's what's looking like it's going to happen as we go into next week.
So is there anything that can influence this?
There's one huge thing that's happening right now. We're looking at sunspots. Look at this graphic. It's a little funky, so stay with me. Last time the polar vortex happened in January, we saw a huge spike in sunspots or solar activity. Look at it spiking again. In the summertime, shouldn't happen like that. So if this spike continues and we see the solar activity continuing, we're going to see more splinters of the polar vortex coming at us all through the summer. That means it might not get hot. It might not stay above 90 degrees, may never touch 100 degrees here in Maryland.
Okay, so but for those of us worried about next week, what does this mean for us?
The days are still going to stay warm.
Okay.
But the nights could get pretty chilly, and that's even inside the Beltway. These 40s and 50s for overnight lows are driving way south. Usually this stays up towards northern Wisconsin or the Great Lakes. We could be talking about 40s, low 40s, mind you, in the mountains, and maybe upper 50s here in the Beltway. That's, you know, 5 to 10 degrees below average. It's cold at night, but during the day, it's going to feel really refreshing. But from a meteorological standpoint, it is fascinating to see this all evolve, and it's fascinating that we're still talking polar vortex in the middle of summer.
A word that we're all coming to know very well.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Mike. You can read more about the polar vortex and what it will mean for our weather next week on Mike's blog. Find it online at abc2news.com.